I was 14, and growing up, I was teased a lot and bullied, and my dad was in and out of my life, and AOL was the big thing, and chatting online, and a 22-year-old found me on AOL and messaged me. I'm thinking, I'm 14 and a 22-year-old is interested in me. I must be pretty cool. And we met the next day and turned into a lot more than I ever thought it would turn into. And at the time, he really became my world. And it was kind of like whatever he kind of said, I was like, oh, okay, then I just, to kind of keep him around in a sense, I just did it. Then he started having me meet other guys through the internet and would find them, and I found out that this was really weird. I was like, I don't know about this, but deep down, I think the deeper I got, it was harder to then to get out. And again, I'm living in a Christian home, and to say, hey, this is what's going on, I was more afraid of what my family would think. So I was living this whole life of doing this day to day, but yet I was going to school and church that whole life, and this was still going on. I was going through this for 4 years. My parents had no clue. And FBI shows up at my door and literally saved my life. While I was being trafficked, I didn't see a healthcare provider. I never thought I could really go to a health or community and stuff like that, because again, this was such a deep, deep secret, and I was so fearful of other people finding out. And when I was rescued, there weren't really there weren't safe homes. And for a trafficking victim survivor, there were no services. I had a good friend of mine she's an ER nurse, and she could point someone to AA meetings or drug rehab, and even rape, she could point them to somewhere. As far as trafficking, there was nothing. So I went through a recovery program, but it was for every ounce of issues girls coming into, and we barely touched on it. For a lot of it, I thought a lot of this was my fault, because I wasn't chained, I wasn't stripped, I wasn't physically hurt. I was all mentally hurt. And I would have people constantly like, well, you could have left. What people don't realize is the mental strain that is on. And it finally took a very good friend that is an activist to say, this was not your fault. So that's what I'm coming a part of, is to the other survivors and the girls to know you're not alone and you can get through this. And that's pretty much what I'm doing.